There are some things that are truly almost impossible to explain about timelessness. You can put them into words and you can try to explain them, but they're not going to be understood by people who haven't had any kind of anything like it. Maybe they've had a cool visualization, or if they've had a cool buzz from a meditation, or if they've felt the oneness of the world. But like the place, I had a near-death experience a long time ago, and I had another deeper, more whatever a couple of years ago, and since then I've just been in that place. And when I have the time to really get into one of my deep breathing practices that I learned from my memory, from when I talk about timelessness, when I say this, there's people right now that I try to talk to, and they're trying to become conscious, and they're talking about what they hear on news and the science things they have and all the new gadgets that you can put on yourself and heal yourself with meditation music and sounds and whatever, and that's all cool and dandy. But what's funny is I remember inventing the noises, the sounds, the symbols, the swirls in the air that make wind and vibration. And that sounds silly to talk about. So then when I get into the truth of it all, is that I remember all past lives. I remember all lives of all beings. But the truth about that part is you would only want to focus on a few of the good ones, instead of remembering the depth of every horrible thing you've ever done and the depth of every good thing you've ever done, to try to be like, oh, I did all this great stuff. But when you have experienced timelessness, you've done all the horrible stuff and all the great stuff. And most of the great stuff wasn't all that great, and most of the horrible stuff wasn't all that horrible. It's just you living in the moment when the universe and the whole world around you confuses you as to what you should be doing, because nobody's taken the right steps because they're afraid to stand up for the truth. And when you do stand up for the truth, most people are afraid to hear it. And when they do hear it, they get outraged and stand up in the wrong way. Now, it's not like I'm just saying something off the top of my head. I remember inventing and making and creating the tarot cards. I remember being all the people who wrote books and holy books and taught classes, and hundreds and thousands of many amazing, wonderful things. But to try to sit and remember them takes away the person that I personally am. My ego loses the ability to connect to my personal past, my personal beingness, so that I can seem somewhat conscious to people. The truth is, I'm so super conscious that I lost my personal ego and have to come back into it and stay in it. That I get why some yogis and whatever have melted into oneness and not really been able to say anything but talk about the nature of things and the seasons and things about acorns and pine leaves and just whatever comes off the top of their head, because that's what Zen is. You get so in the moment that you have no you left, and I won't do that this time. So if that sounds unpractical or stupid to some people, how would I help anybody if I just zoned out and went into samadhi forever? People have to understand it's not about feeling good and being all in that place. To come out of that place and see where we are right now in the real world and apply myself to making big changes in this world, so that when you're dead in this world, the spirit that lives on doesn't have to take that garbage on with it, because it does. Your conscious factor will always be a factor. Unless you want to shut off, you can do that, but then you restart again and you don't know that you ever were. So it's magic like that. It really is so magical, it's too hard to express and too hard to explain to anybody. But they're going to get what they want, and they're going to get what they really want, not what their ego wants, what their soul wants. And that gets to talking into words that people don't like to hear either. So I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but the truth is, like, that's all life is now. That there is no, I don't care if people say a spiritual being have a human experience, or a human being have a spiritual experience, and anything like that. Those are just words, man. Timelessness is, there's nothing here but us. There's nothing here but this thing. There's this livingness that's happening right now, always. That's all there ever has been. And the point is to take care and control of ourselves, do things for ourselves, being our own master, and not letting anybody else tell you what to do, because you know what's right and wrong, and you don't have to have anyone tell you. Once you get to a certain age and you've had enough around you happen, you become as conscious as you can, and you live in the direction of the right as much as you can, as hard as it is. You do the right thing. And it's not worth anything to conform to something that doesn't make moral sense. And once you start thinking about how many things do you do right now that make moral sense, Really think about it. Anything that's alive doesn't deserve to die. How many contributions do you have to that? Anybody telling you what to do is not your boss, is not your ruler, and cannot tell you what to do with your time. So anyone you're working for, trying to make money to pay a bill, anything like that. At this point in time, I know we set up our problems and we set up our bills, a lot of them, but with all the details out of mind, the idea of money has kept everybody enslaved for such a long time, so that it's a control factor, and we have to know that. And if we don't know that, why the hell, okay, if we do know that, then why would people strive to make online millions so that they can be ahead of that part of the game? So if I have millions, I don't care that it's actually holding everybody down and making us strive to do something to make a whole bunch of money. I don't care if I sell online, coasters, and I don't care if I sell thousands of people, work from home programs. I want to make money so I can live luxuriously. That's just the wrong attitude, and if they keep teaching that, it's just going to keep us separated and just striving for the wrong thing, never getting ourselves out of this hole. And it's a really big movement right now to get ourselves thinking about magic and bliss and wonder, but you have to look around and see that that's not happening. And if it's not happening for everyone and it's happening for you, then you need to swallow your individual ego and all your pride and start working towards something that means something. So, until next time, peace.